was kind of preparing to go home. I was like, I've run out of money now, and I've run out of, ambition to keep this going any longer. And I can't speak the Spanish language either. So what am I really doing here? I was on my own. And then this job came up on Craigslist, and it was like, news spokeswoman required. And I was like, this sounds really sketchy, but also, if it's a real job, it is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. You do a lot of talking about checklists and process. I mean, so you're a big fan of written processes, aren't you?
I am, and I actually left video. I had my own TV show for a year, and it was impossible. I had a deadline of an episode a week, a 24-minute episode that broadcast on television about my local kind of community. So I'd go around and I'd do 4 different stories, one about sport, business, music, and like kind of news or kind of something. Anyway, it was impossible. Like, I had to present, I had someone filming for me 2 days a week, I had to edit the whole thing, and like, I'd be turning up at events that I didn't even know what it was, like horse racing. I wouldn't even have a clue what's going on. I'd have to try and find someone who was like an organizer, stick a mic in front of their face, ask them questions, and then bring home all this. Like, I'd probably have 30-to-1 footage. Like, I'd have shot 30 times, 30 minutes for every 1 minute that ended up in the episode. So I was editing all the time. I was working about 6.5 days a week, and I was dead from it. So I quit, and I was like, I'm getting out of video. I'm done with video. It's too laborious. It's too time consuming. I'm going to go.
How'd that work out?
Yeah. So I got a job as a project manager. And what I learned is, I was like, okay, this whole project management thing is actually really good for video, because a lot of times, what they say, like, creative people kind of get into video who wouldn't really be that interested in processes and stuff like that. So I was like, if I can find a way to merge the processes with the creativity to just make it more efficient, so that I'm not up all night editing, so that I'm actually shooting to edit and planning out exactly what I'm going to film and edit, so I'm not making any decisions in the edit. I'm literally moving blocks around the place, and it's all pre-decided in the planning phase. Then wouldn't life be easier? And that hypothesis turned out to be true, and I'm like, okay, my life is way easier. I'm not up all night editing anymore. I do have more time, and it's much nicer.
Yeah. In the 90s, I had a company, and I hired a creative director, the late great Michael Hedgepath, from one of the big, New York advertising agencies. And, he just seemed like a genius. Every meeting, he had brilliant things to say. And when I was asking him about, how he got so creative, he went in the drawer and he had this binder. And yeah, he had a page on questions to ask the first time you meet a customer. Questions to ask and things to point out, in your second meeting with the customer, when you present a prototype to them, right? It was all written out. And so he came off as a genius. I mean, he was a smart guy, but he came off as a genius. But you looked, and all the brilliant things he was saying in the meeting, he had them written out in his binder. He thought about what to say in meetings. And wrote it out, and then, man, seemed like a genius. He probably was, but a lot to be said for process, at least if you're actually managing to do the same thing over and over.
And that's it, and you start to realize what works and what doesn't work, and what's a waste of time and what's actually really beneficial. So at the start, you might have to spoof a bit until you figure out, okay, this is actually working, and I'm onto something here, and then it goes well.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, it's important. Once you reach that, you realize that you've come up with a service people need. That's when you get to start doing the same thing over and over and really making money, right? So repurposing content. This is another topic that I've not been doing a good job on. Right? So I interview all these interesting people, and I end out with, an hour of each person saying interesting things, and pull out 1 or 2 little clips. And I'm constantly thinking I should turn it into a book or maybe a blog, and then if the blog's successful, turn it into a book. But I never get very far with it. I don't know. So I'm personally looking for advice on repurposing content, right?
It was actually, so Ryan just mentioned live streaming pros there, and it was during that I got inspired by one of the speakers who was like, she goes live for an hour, and I think she said she turns it into 99 different pieces of content afterwards, and I was like, mind blown. So I worked on a few months ago, I was like, okay, went live with someone for an hour, and then I was like, let's see how many I can do, and I got 25 repurposed contents out of it. So what I did was at the start, like I actually created a checklist for myself. So I was like, full video, 1 hour, on YouTube. And I was like, okay, that's one. And then I was like, okay, let's see. So I brought it into Premiere Pro, and then I was like, LinkedIn, 5 1-minute clips. So because it was a LinkedIn audience, I was looking for some stuff that was professional, business related kind of thing. So, and I was also transcribing it as well in the background. So I was also getting the entire script from it. So then I was reading the script to get business kind of quotes that I could put on LinkedIn. Then I was also doing kind of TikTok. So I was actually blowing it up to like scaling up and making it portrait, or else I was kind of putting a background behind it, which might have been a colored background, so it didn't look like just like a landscape within a portrait kind of thing. So I was getting 5 of them. So I think I got, 5 for LinkedIn, 5 for TikTok. I wasn't putting the same on TikTok as I was putting on Instagram. I was actually choosing different ones. Then I had Facebook, Twitter, I had a blog post, and the blog post was created from the transcript. So I just went through, I copy pasted that and was like, okay, let's shorten it and just kind of, use it as a way to kind of create the blog post.
And what do you use to make the transcript?
I was using YouTube. So YouTube's auto transcription, I think, is wonderful. Now, Premiere Pro have started auto transcribing for me as well, which is, I just can't believe it. Like, I wish this, like, I just can't believe how long it took for Premiere Pro to apply an auto transcription tool. Have you used it? It is so good.
I've been using, what's it called? Descript?
Right, yeah.
Right. Descript is amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, it gets the grammar right.
Oh, wow.
It puts in the commas and the periods, and it capitalizes people's names. It's kind of science fiction, honestly. And it'll ask you, play a few clips of someone and say, what's this person's name? And you say it, and then it, puts their name in front of everything they said. It's amazing. I'm actually really happy with that product.
Amazing. But with the shorter clips, I found that they get so much more views and traction than the whole thing. And then I suppose the aim of it is to try and get people then to actually watch the longer version. So you're just making sure to put in the description or link in bio, and maybe your link tree has a thing to your YouTube playlist with your latest live that comes up first or something like that. So then I think you have to also remove any friction for people, because you don't want to ask your audience to have to press too many buttons or to navigate their way around to find something. So you want to hook them in with the short piece or the blog, and then get them to hopefully watch when they've time, because yourself, like, you won't tune into long form content unless it suits you. Like, you're not going to do it when your friends are over, or, like when you're trying to work or something like that. You're going to do it when you're like cleaning up the house or when you're driving somewhere. So you'll have a specific time in your mind that you'll be like, that's when I want to watch this or watch back. So, you're trying to make it easy for them to re-find it if they do want to.
So any advice for people getting started? People who are following along and they want to do the video production too?
Go to Costa Rica and go on Craigslist. Do you know what? Like, I would say, like, you kind of have to be bold, and you kind of not be bold, but like you kind of, just because you don't feel like you're confident enough to do it yet, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it. Do you know that kind of way? And everyone has to start somewhere. So right now you can start yourself. Like back then YouTube was there, and I had a few things uploaded on YouTube. But right now you can have a TV network from your house, like you can have the equivalent of that. So I really think just starting. And if you're starting and you're not ready for other people to see it yet, I think this is the best piece of advice, and I got it from someone else. Just hold up your phone or put it beside you when you're washing the dishes, and just start talking to it and just start saying, and today I did this and today I did that, because it's a different type of relationship that you have when you're speaking to the phone than you're speaking to other people. And you kind of have to develop a relationship with it. Like, you kind of have to be like, okay, how do we talk to each other? Even though that doesn't talk to me. How do I talk to it? And just overcome that fear of what other people will think of you, or what you'll even think of yourself when you watch back, because that can be a little bit strange as well sometimes.
We actually bought one of the microphone sticks with the phone. Yeah. Oh, so ours it says Rode on both sides of the phone.
Black marker. I got a Sharpie.
I mean, putting it on one side would be fine, so I could decide whether or not to show it. They put it on both sides.
And you know what, I got
just Sharpied over it. See how I'm learning stuff. This is great.
Yeah, I know a Sharpie. I got this from Amazon. It's called a mic flag, and you can stick this into the end and then attach your logo with a sticker or something like that. So then if you're out and about, say, doing kind of branded content videos, then there's no way that they can crop out that from it and steal it and redo it,
Nice. All right. So that's a microphone flag, you said?
Yeah.
Know what to search for.
Yeah. It took me a while to find. I was like, what is that thing called?
Microphones, so audio.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you talked about you use a phone for video, and I think that's fine, but it's probably not good enough for audio, or am I wrong?
No. And no, it's 100% not. And I'm like, if you're making a video and you don't have a microphone, make a voiceover video. And, you're fine to make a voiceover video if you're fine to use your phone to record a voiceover if you hold up your phone like you're making a phone call and record it into voice memo app or whatever it is on Android. And, that's what I encourage people to do. Bring that into the edit, into the timeline, and then get your shots to match what it's saying. Perfect. Like, TikTok and Reels kind of mastered this, because this is probably as far away as you can have your phone without the audio being really, really bad. But then you're getting this shot that's quite close up, like you're quite in the face of the audience. So I always like my shots to be kind of like this now, how I'd be, So in order to get that, I'm going to be too far away from the camera. So then I do need a mic. So my mic of choice, because when I was working in broadcast, I used Rode microphones. So I've stuck with Rode because I kind of do that. I'm like, if a brand is working for me or a software is working for me, I'm like, I'm not going to try
other
things.
Is it the Go mic too? Or?
No, it's actually the Rode Smart Lav. So it's
okay.
this guy, and it's like €50, so it's cheap, and it's just got little thing and then the little clip, and it's very nice. Now the only thing is so the only thing is that the cable is quite short. So then you have to go and buy an extension cable, which is an extra €15. So yeah, it's too short to really benefit from. And then if you're an iPhone user, you also have to get the iPhone adapter. So what it does then, it goes in there and then plugs into the extension, and then you've got loads of room. What I would suggest as well is just disguise the cable. I don't mind if like this is being seen, if this is here, I'm fine with that. But I would put the cable under my top and then try and make it as neat as possible. And then you're going to get really, really good sound from anyone and anywhere. So I would never record someone unless I had one of these, but I carry it around in my bag so that I have it all the time in case something comes up that I'm like, oh, I'll record an interview now.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we've been using the Rode Go mics.
Oh, right? I love them too. So this guy.
So little, that guy. Yeah. It's a little wireless one. Plugs into the bottom of your phone, and then you get two of them, right? So you and the guest can each have one clipped on.
Exactly. And then the beauty is that they record onto two separate tracks. So I can't find the other one now, but this one will record onto the left track and this one will record onto the right track, so that if person A starts coughing, you can mute person A and just have person B's sound. So you get loads of ability basically with these. But these are 250 quid, and that's sometimes outside of people's budget. But what I do suggest is that when people buy the Rode Smart Lav first, they will never regret it, because if they do want to go up to the wireless mics, they can then plug the Rode Smart Lav into the little transmitter and then put that as a backpack. And then this can just live on them for the day. And it's, I don't really like the look of this in the shot. Like, I think it's just a little bit like a road ad, you know? So, so yeah, I'd rather just put that down.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Speedify content and tutorials.